I created my first vision board about 3 years ago. And what's neat, today as I look at that vision board, I've accomplished a lot of things on that board. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of casting a vision for yourself as a real estate investor. My name is Shiloh Lundahl, and you are watching the Improve channel focused on real estate investing. The other day, I had a session with one of my real estate coaching clients, and we were talking about the importance of casting a vision. And I said to him, imagine you're walking down the street and you look over and you see an empty lot of land. You might just see it as an empty lot and not think twice about it, and then you just keep walking by. However, if you're a builder, you can come up to that lot of land and you can start to visualize what it would look like to have a home there, or to have a building, or whatever it is that you build. You can start to see what it would look like, and you can create the entire building in your mind before you ever grab a shovel and start digging that foundation. All great buildings first started with a vision in someone's mind. They didn't just start grabbing wood and start nailing it together, hoping that it might create some sort of building. No. Before they created any sort of building, they created a blueprint first. And this blueprint was what they imagined they could create. It's a lot easier to be able to imagine a building if you've been able to work with somebody who's built a building before, because you see all of the steps that it takes from start to finish to have an empty lot and then have this beautiful building. But if you've never been part of building a building or building a home, then you just see this empty lot of land. It's very difficult sometimes to imagine everything coming together. But if you have worked with somebody who's done that before, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to imagine everything coming together. So that is a lot like how a vision board works. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create within your mind how you want your life to be. And as you create this idea, you start to see it and you start to visualize it. Your brain is a magnificent organ in your body. It helps you think. It helps you be able to problem solve. It basically makes everything in your body function. So we're very grateful that we have brains. However, our brains can also work against us. The way that we see things and the experiences that we have create our belief system. And our belief system can keep us at our status quo, at what we think we deserve. So it's very difficult sometimes to break through and get to another level if we don't believe that we can actually get to that next level. What happens is our brain, like a thermostat, once it's set to a certain degree, like 72 degrees, what happens is when it gets below that, the heater kicks in order to bring up the temperature to 72 degrees. Or if it starts to get hotter than that, the AC unit kicks in order to bring the temperature down to 72 degrees. So if you have a belief about yourself that, you know what, I'm only going to ever make about $50,000 a year or even $100,000, and that's as much as I can imagine myself making, then it's likely that that's about as much as you will make. Because your thermostat is set to that's how much I make. And so if you get involved in certain business deals and other things like that, they're likely to fail because your thermostat is set at a certain point, because your underlying belief system says, no, this is as much as I can make, and that's it. When I first started working right after college, I started to make $40,000 a year. And I thought, this is incredible. This is awesome. I'm making $40,000 a year. That's more money than I've ever made before in my life. And so I worked hard, and then, I got a raise to like $42,000 a year, and I was just super happy. I never believed that I would be able to make much more than maybe $45,000 a year. And then I got a job as a supervisor, making $55,000 a year. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Right after I got my promotion, my wife and I went out and we bought our first $100 meal in celebration of our newfound success. And I was able to keep that job for about 9 months. And then I got demoted. I went from supervisor back down to therapist, and I went from making $55,000 a year down to below what I started at several years ago. I went to making $37,000 a year. Well, there's a couple of different reasons why that happened. Partly because I'm not that good of an employee. I would see how they were doing things, and I thought, you know what? I could do things better if I did it this other way. And so I would do it the way that I thought was better. But my supervisors didn't like that. And so they told me, no, do it this way. And I would do that way for a little while until I realized, no, my way was better, and I'd go back to do it my way. I thought, okay, what do I do now? I'm going to go and I'm going to start my own private practice. Because at that time, I was independently licensed as a therapist, and I was able to go and start seeing clients on my own. So I worked really, really hard at advertising and marketing myself so that I could attract clients, so that I could have an income. Because at that point in time, I wasn't getting paid anything. And it worked. I was able to network with certain people that were able to refer people to me. And ultimately, I started to build up my own private practice. And it was awesome. So after 6 months of working really, really hard, I was able to bring up my income to match what I used to make as a supervisor. But then I made all of these little incremental goals. And then I thought, okay, I want to be able to meet with 20 clients a week. And then I worked really, really hard in order to build up to that many clients in a week. And I was able to get there. And so pretty soon my thermostat started to change. And I started to work with other great therapists in the same office that I was working in. And these therapists were meeting with 20 clients a week or even 30 clients a week. And they were charging about $100 per session. And I thought, wow, if I were to meet with that many clients a week, all of a sudden this idea came into my mind. I would be able to bring up my income from $55,000 up to $72,000. And so I worked really, really hard at bettering myself as a therapist and improving my skill set and working with families and kids. And as I did that, people liked the services I was providing, and they would come back to me. And I was able to build up my caseload to about 20 clients a week, and I got to that $72,000 a year mark. And then that's as much as my new thermostat setting told me that I could make, and no more. And so I stayed at that number for about a year. And then one day I was talking with a brother-in-law, and he asked me, do you think that you'd ever be able to make over $100,000 a year? How in the world could I make more than what I'm making now? You know, maybe I can make a little bit more, but I don't know if I can make that much more. So again, my thermostat was set at $72,000 a year. I didn't believe that I could make any more. So what happened next? At this time, the building that I had my therapy practice in went on the market for sale. And I know there was a couple of therapists in my office that wanted to purchase the building, but for one reason or another, they weren't in a financial position to be able to do that. And I had, some money saved up, but I also had some good connections with some people that had some money. So I asked the people in the office if they wouldn't mind if I tried to get the building. And they said, yeah, sure. I don't think that they thought that I was actually going to be able to buy it. So after a while of working with the seller's realtor, I was able to buy the building that I had my practice out of. So as I started to stabilize the building, and I started to be able to build out another portion of the building and add more therapists in the building, now I was getting income from the tenants that were renting from me in the building, the other therapists that were there. And all of a sudden, this idea, wow, I'm probably going to be able to bring in about $20,000 a year from this building. So now my thermostat changed from $72,000 to, I think I'm going to be able to make $100,000 a year. And it was awesome. I was able to get to that point. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. So the thermostat in our brain that tells us, this is how much I am worth financially. This is how much I can make. I can't really make much more. It will keep us at that place until we have some sort of shift in the way that we see things, in the way that we believe things, that will then help that thermostat adjust to a new level. So I stayed at that $100,000 mark for a while until I got more and more involved in real estate. And as I got more involved in real estate, listening to podcasts and listening to audiobooks, and one of the audiobooks that I'd like to mention is the book, The Miracle Morning. In that book, it talked a lot about vision boards. And so that's when I created my own vision board. And in creating that vision board 3 years ago, one section in that vision board talked about my real estate, and the real estate portion of my vision board said that I was going to bring in $500,000 of rental income from my real estate portfolio. And after a few short years, that vision became a reality. And I have a lot of other areas of my vision board that are really important to me. There's a portion that has to do with spirituality. There's a portion that has to do with my family. There's a portion that has to do with public speaking, and a portion that has to do with giving and serving. All of these things are very important to me. And as I would view my vision board daily, it would start to become a part of me to where my vision board started to become my reality. The more I saw it, the more I thought, this is my reality. These are the things that I'm going to own. These are the experiences I'm going to have. These are the relationships that are going to be built and strengthened in my life. And it's been so awesome to be able to work towards those things. Not so much like goals as much as it is, this is my life. I can see it. I can feel it. If you are going to invest in real estate, create a vision board. Start to change that thermostat. Visualize yourself being able to have a rental property or 2 or 3, or if you want to go bigger, visualize yourself being able to have 10 real estate properties. Or you can go even bigger than that. You can visualize yourself having 100 real estate properties. My partner and I, over the last 4 years, have been able to build up a large real estate portfolio of over 160 properties by believing that we could do it. So I encourage you to work on your mind. Your mind can either help you succeed or it will keep you at the level that it believes that you can succeed at. It all depends on what you can visualize. Just like the guy walking down the street and seeing that lot of land that doesn't really think twice about it and just keeps on going, he doesn't see what could be there. Versus the builder who walks down that street, looks over at that lot of land and realizes, there's so many things that I can do with this lot of land. I encourage you to do the same thing with your life. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked the video, please go and subscribe and click the notification bell and like the video. I really, really appreciate it. And I wish you great success in your real estate investing journey. Have a great day.